Hello, everyone. So here we are with another Books Alive interview as part of our Books Alive week. I'm Carolyn Barber from the Good Mental Health Co-op, and I'm talking today with Wendy, who's one of our regular Books Alive volunteers. Been with us a few years now, I think, Wendy, haven't you?
I have,
How have
but
you been?
5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, gosh, okay. So Wendy's here to talk about her book, Gender Euphoria. So I'd just like to start, Wendy, by asking you why you've chosen that particular book title.
Okay. I suffered from gender dysphoria for many, many years, and I lived secretly with this. Nobody knew about it, and then at the age of 50, I couldn't tolerate this condition anymore. So I transitioned from a male to female, and now my gender dysphoria is cured. I think it's the only mental condition that can be cured by surgery. And instead of having gender dysphoria, I now have gender euphoria. I'm happy with life. I'm happy with me. I don't have a big chip on my shoulder. I no longer feel guilty or ashamed. And I can wear, as you can see, fabulous clothes.
Okay. But so what would you say have been the most difficult periods of, or difficult experiences that you've been through with this?
I think the most difficult experiences really was coming to the realization that I could no longer continue with these thoughts, which were obsessive, compulsive, or all encompassing. They actually stopped me from living a normal life, which is actually the definition of a breakdown. Definition of, everybody says, "Oh, I'm having a breakdown," but nobody knows what it is. Actually, what a breakdown is the inability to carry on working and living normally. And I could no longer do that because of these this obsession that I had, that I could no longer be a male. And I was a GP for 29 years, and I was also a forensic examiner. That was a police surgeon for 15 years, and it was interfering with my job. I was seeing patients, and I was looking at their clothes and their jewelry, and I was finding life very difficult. And also, nobody knew about this. Nobody in the whole world knew about it. I kept it absolutely secret. I was married. I had children. I knew how my wife felt about it, because when we watched things like Coronation Street, or and I'd say, "Well, what would you do if I was like that?" Her answer was, "Well, that would be it. You're out." And I'm not. I wouldn't tolerate. So I knew what would happen, and I didn't want to lose that at all, because I was married for 39 years, I think. And you have a look at the pluses and the minuses, and at times you can't cope with it. And I had very deep moments when I cross-dressed and I belonged to some cross-dressing groups, actually, and I had immense highs and lows. And the name Wendy actually was because of my email. My email was Wendy in Never Neverland, because it was a made-up name and it would never happen. It could never happen, because it was crazy. I didn't look anything like a female. It was absolutely just a crazy idea. But Wendy happened, and so I carried on with the name of Wendy. Excuse me, I'm going to blow my nose. I'll say at times I had very low moments, and I did feel suicidal, and I referred myself to a psychiatrist. Actually, it was because I was a GP in Hampshire. I saw a psychiatrist in Dorset, and I saw him on about 6 occasions, and his conclusion at the end of it was, you will do what you're going to do, and that was it. And I again, I had episodes of highs and lows. I went to a conference with a friend of mine was a counsellor for people with gender dysphoria, and I went on a conference with her to Manchester, and I met successful people who transitioned. One was a psychiatrist, one was a lawyer, one was a gynecologist, and I realised that I could actually do it, because I thought if I did transition, I'd lose my job. I wouldn't be able to work anymore. I would lose everything. I'd lose my job, my family, my kids, everything. And I'm not sure that I could cope with that. But I realised that I could do it. So I did. And in fact, my patients, I'm just looking through because we're all in lockdown, and I've got lots of old folders. I found all the thank you letters or the support letters that I hadn't seen for 18 years, and my patients were very, very kind to me. My partners weren't, the authorities weren't, the GMC wasn't, the press wasn't. I featured in 6 national newspapers as Dr. Wendy, call me Dr. Wendy, or something like that, and they wrote a full-page story about me, which was all totally made up. And the press doorstepped my family, but eventually you're just yesterday's chip paper eventually, so that all went away, and I carried on working. I finished working 7 years ago, because I was a senior partner, and all my junior partners I hadn't grown up with. They were sort of relatively new, and their attitude to me, actually, I didn't actually realise I was actually being bullied at the time, and I was being taken for granted. I was being overlooked, and I felt burnt out, and I decided to leave general practice, and my partner's behaviour then was also disgraceful, and it was probably one of the low moments of my life, very low moments. I was seen again by a psychiatrist, and I was prescribed antidepressants, which made me I couldn't tolerate them. They gave me awful nightmares. But I left general practice, and I went to work in India for 5 seasons or 6 seasons. I worked as a tour medic in the Himalayas, and instead of having 2,000 patients at a time, I would have 12 clients. I travelled around India, basically as a tourist, until I had to work, till somebody fell off their bike or got altitude sickness or got Delhi belly. So I had a lot of time travelling. I travelled around India. This was on motorbikes, and I travelled around India on my own for a while on a motorbike. And then when I came back, I also started travelling around the world. I rode down to Cape Town 4 years ago with a friend from Portsmouth. And that took us 62 days. And then last year I rode around the Black Sea on my own on a 250cc motorbike. That was about 13,000 kilometers. And again, because I did it on my own, you're dealing with loneliness. And I sort of I'd never enjoyed being on my own before. I'd always had to have somebody else's company, but I've now started to enjoy being on my own and appreciating what it's like to be able to do what you want to do. The only downside of that trip was Russia. I couldn't read signs. Russians weren't very friendly, and the scenery wasn't very inspiring. But I kept on traveling. I was in Thailand this year in January, and when I came back, I'd had a great time, but I hadn't been feeling very well, and I lost my sense of smell for 4 days in January when I came back. So I think I had the C word, And since then, we've all been in lockdown. I haven't done much traveling. I've been seeing a few friends when I've been able to, when we've come out of lockdown, and I've enjoyed being in my flat. And that's I'm sure we've gone off this story, haven't we? We've gone off the question. I'm sure I have. I've rambled on. I think I've rambled on enough. I'll let you ask another question.
What would you? Well, what or who do you think? What or who helped you through the difficult times that you've had?
That's a difficult one. Well, working in India, and my boss that I actually I'm in touch with, she's just gone through a nasty divorce as well, and being appreciated actually. And I worked with the police as well for another 9 years, and I worked with some great people. The people I worked with and the people I met, apart from general practice, apart from my partners, I had a lot of support from, and especially my patients actually. And I think I had a purpose in life. I enjoyed life. When I finished in general practice, I met some great people, and one of them actually I rode around to Cape Town with. A few others I'm still in contact with. Some of them have died. Yeah, I think India saved me. I think India was such a crazy place.
Yeah.
That first year I went there, I thought I'm never going back. Then it was a dreadful place, but I got asked to go back again, which was nice. And then I sort of started to love it. I have a love-hate relationship with India, but it's so much there in your face. The noise, the colours, the smells, the poverty, the richness, everything. You can't not love it and hate it at the same time. So but I'm not sure whether I'll be able to go back there, because there's so many other places I want to go to. I was supposed to be in Indonesia at the moment, but that hasn't happened.
So with your story, you're obviously, in terms of the transition, you experienced a lot of stigma and
well, I didn't really actually. I received the only problems I got. I think I had one episode in a local pub where everybody knew me, and they'd known me for years and years. And I went into the ladies, and this was after I'd had my surgery, and somebody made a comment, wrong toilet, and I came out and I challenged him, and I said, do you know how hurtful that is? Why do you have to say that? Because I can't go to any other toilet, and also, and I made him think about it, and he actually apologized. And in a way, that is now classified as a hate crime. I remember that one, but no, I
suppose I was thinking of the newspaper articles and
the newspaper
that kind of coverage. I mean,
the newspaper. Well, I mean, basically, newspaper articles all about selling newspapers. It's just a story, where a doctor has sex change or whatever. That was. I only hit. Let's say I made page 23 of the Sun. Right. Nobody reads page 23 of the Sun. They read page 3 and then go to the back page. So that was a few of my friends from university contacted me because they were all surprised. As I say, nobody knew. It was a very secret thing. But as far as crumbs, I think I had one nasty letter when I first changed in general practice, but the rest of it were all very supportive. So I mean, I've been very lucky because a lot of trans people, male to female and female to male, they have psychological problems as well, because and also because they have problems, they have problems with employment. So I was lucky; I was able to carry on working, and I was appreciated by my patients. And I actually belong to another group called Diversity Role Models. I'm actually a role model for young people to say that it is okay to transition. You can be successful. The worst problems I had, as I said, were the bullying, which I didn't realise I was getting, and from my partners in general practice.
Okay. So what would you say now to someone going through a similar experience?
I would say the problem is it's not a choice. It's not like my ex-wife thinks it was a lifestyle choice. It's not a choice. It's something, and it's something that I think you're probably born with. And I don't think, I mean, the only cure for it is to transition, but to do that successfully in today's society is not easy because of the discrimination and because of the stereotyping that goes on, and the problem is we all like to fit in, and if you don't fit in and you're different, then you get treated differently. The problem is a lot of trans people do. I'm relatively lucky. I'm not 6'2". I haven't got huge hands. I haven't got a huge Adam's apple, etc. So I sort of fit in. I think for most people, I think talk to somebody, talk to everybody. And don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid to ask. And if people, after you have told them, don't want to know, then they're not worth knowing. And life is good. Enjoy life, but enjoy the whole process. I mean, I think I enjoyed the whole thing as well because of the rules and regulations. I had to live for a year before I could get surgery. Life is for living. Enjoy it, and if you can find a way of living it as the true you, that's fine. But lots of people can't.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Was there anything else that you wanted to add? You know, we kind of covered quite a lot in your story, but is there anything else to add?
Well, yes, there's an awful lot. There's an awful lot to add, really. If you want to know my, yeah, okay, but nothing specific. I think, okay. I, as I say, I am fortunate. I've been in employment. I have a pension. I've only got half a pension because my wife has got the other half. But I have enough to be comfortable and to live my life as I want to. Unfortunately, a lot of trans people can't do that, and that's where the difficulties are. There are quite a few charities involved to help people. There's a group called JARIS that I'm a member of. It's gender identity research. There's lots of help out there. There's lots of societies. There's lots of stuff on social media. Ask for help if you need help. There's plenty of help. There's plenty of people, but listen to them all and make your mind up at the end what you want to do.
Okay, so thank you very much, Wendy. It's been a pleasure as ever talking to you. I
just realised I've been talking rubbish for the past 20 minutes.
Not at all. So we'll just sort of bring this to a close, say goodbye, and see you soon.
Okay.
Right.